All right, welcome back. 2 weeks in a row, had to do it. The team with the longest winning streak in the NBA. I completely 100% called it last week. Don't go back and watch that clip and see what I said. But I called what if the Rockets never lost from last week to this week. The Rockets are the longest win streak in the NBA. I saw ESPN stats and info tweet out, no other team in NBA history has ever lost 15 games in a row and then won 6 games in a row after that. So it's probably now the greatest turnaround in NBA history. Jackson Gatlin, Locked On Rockets. What is going on?
Nick, not only has this not taken place in the NBA, it hasn't happened across NHL, NFL, MLB. 15 or more straight losses into 6 or more straight wins has never been done across any of the major sports. So this Rockets team is making history. Look, they really did just turn things around. Offensively, they unlocked their identity finally. That's something that was a recurring theme for this team throughout that 15-game losing streak is, what is the identity of this team? What is Stephen Silas trying to accomplish? Are they trying to play the veterans and trying to make a push for the play-in and be like a relevant, competent NBA-level team? Are they going to develop the young guys? Like, this team had no clear-cut identity. And I don't think necessarily that they're, going to be gunning for the play-in all of a sudden. They had a relatively easy stretch of games, and life's going to come at them pretty fast over these next, 8 or 9 games. They've got the Nets coming up this Wednesday. That's going to be a really tough opponent. They've got the Bucks right after that. So, they've got some really quality opponents over these next 10. So things could come crashing back down to reality for this Rockets team. That said, they did finally find a bit of an offensive identity. Slotting Christian Wood at the 5 spot unlocks so much for this Rockets team. The spacing has been incredible. But even past that is they've just finally, I think they've developed the confidence that they need to really run some of the stuff that Stephen Silas wants to run offensively and to do it well, right? Playing with confidence, moving the ball around, doing the little things that lead to winning basketball games finally.
Christian Wood, 19.3 points, 11.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, almost 2 blocks a game so far in this stretch. He's shooting 56% from 3 just in this 6-game stretch. But how has he just turned into this monster again? Because it felt like last year you kept every other day. It felt like you DM'd me like, Christian Wood's better than Porzingis. Christian Wood's better than Porzingis. It was just over and over again, and I was like, dang, he's right last year. And then this year at the start of the season, I was like, oh no, there's no way. Porzingis is playing a lot better than Christian Wood, and now it's flipped again. What has Christian Wood done to? He was so good last year, and then to have this dip at the beginning of the year and now just come back to, all right, I'm a 2010 guy that can hit the 3 and can also block shots.
Yeah, well, last year he was on an absolute tear. He was really pushing for, being in consideration for the All-Star team. Then unfortunately had that ankle injury that sidelined him for 17 games, and that was where the Rocket season really just utterly derailed. There was a little bit of hope last season that they'd be a play-in team or kind of, fighting for a playoff spot, and that completely unraveled. But this year, Christian Wood had a lot of expectations placed on his shoulders, right? He gave us a taste of what he was capable of last season. Coming in this year, talked about wanting to be, a clear focal point in the offense, wanting to be a power forward, wanting to be a 4 alongside Daniel Theis. We got a taste of that last season with Kelly Olynyk and Christian Wood sharing the front court together. But unfortunately, Daniel Theis just isn't the complementary piece next to Christian Wood in the Rockets front court that he needs. He doesn't, fit as well or as seamlessly as Kelly Olynyk did offensively. So that pairing was just really clunky. And the Rockets just signed Theis to a 4-year deal. So they didn't want to give up on that after just, 5-10 games. So they ran that, duo pretty much into the ground to see if it was going to work or not, right? Kind of ran
it into a 15-game losing streak is what they ran it into.
Yeah. And look, at the end of the day, they were, whatever excuses, whatever reasoning, maybe it was just, directives from the front office. Hey, we don't want to, upset Daniel Theis's agent. We've got to make sure that he understands what this is. The evidence is just insurmountable. Christian Wood plays better when he is the sole big on the floor. And throughout this winning streak, that's what we've seen. Over these last 2 games, Stephen Silas has played a little bit more with having Christian Wood and Alperen Sengun share the floor, as well as in this final win against the Pelicans, sharing the floor again with Daniel Theis. But some of the same problems are still there. So ultimately, Christian Wood's home is as a 5 because he draws so much attention. The mismatches are there. He's able to get to the rim with ease against opposing 5s. He can pop. There's just, it's really hard to contain him if he's at the 5 spot and you've got 4 shooters around him.
Also want to tell you about BetOnlineag. Go check it out. It's the fastest and easiest way to get you started on putting down some money on sports. They have you covered all season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as the football season continues. If you're into football at all, the college football playoffs series is set. The first couple of games here we're able to check out. Ooh, interesting. Georgia, 8-point favorite over Michigan. Michigan is playing at home, but Georgia is going to be at home, quote unquote. But Georgia's the 8-point favorite. Interesting one, even though Georgia just got beat by Alabama. Alabama, 13.5-point favorite at Cincinnati. The Bearcats not getting any love there for that. Not surprising. Go check it out. If you feel strongly about either of those, go put down some money on it. You can also use the promo code LOCKEDON. You'll get a 50% welcome bonus with your first deposits. Go check it out. There's all kinds of NBA props as well, NBA odds that you can check out daily. Go check it out, betonline.ag. Again, promo code LOCKEDON. I have to ask the elephant in the room question. One game from Jaylen Green so far has played during this stretch. He only played 10 minutes in that game. Is there something about Jaylen Green not playing that has allowed the Rockets to play at a different level? Is it being able to play Eric Gordon more? Is it being able to, not having to cater to Jaylen Green getting the ball so much? Is there something about him or something about Jaylen Green that just wasn't leading to winning basketball, and then now when he's off, the Rockets have won 6 games in a row?
Not whatsoever. I will throw in the one caveat that the minutes that would otherwise be going to Jaylen Green right now, 30-ish minutes a night, give or take, when he does make it back to the Rockets lineup, some of the guys who have been really big during this stretch of wins, Garrison Matthews, Armani Brooks, some of those guys are going to have their minutes taken away a little bit. I don't expect those guys I don't expect somebody to just randomly fall out of the rotation because everybody has been so big during this stretch of winning games, winning basketball for this Rockets team. That said, Jaylen Green, struggled with his outside shot and the consistency behind it through the early part of the season, through that 15-game losing streak. But I do not think that there's no evidence whatsoever to point and say, oh, Jaylen Green's the reason that they were on that losing streak. And because he's not playing, that's the reason they're winning basketball now. Maybe some of the things don't break the way that they do across a 6-game winning streak if you don't have some of the hot shooting from Garrison Matthews or Armani Brooks in the game during certain stretches or certain lineups being a bit more favorable because of that consistent outside shooting. That said, the Rockets never really made it like a focal point where, we're just going to put the ball in Jaylen Green's hands and let him get, 20 plus attempts a night. He was very much playing within the flow of the offense, never really trying to demand the basketball or take over games, just letting things come to him naturally. And that's been Stephen Silas's approach with Jaylen Green is he wants an organic development plan or path for him. So rather than just giving the ball and saying, all right, go out there and get your, 20, 25 shots a game, he's going out there and he's playing within the flow of the offense. They're sharing the ball really well. So I fully expect that when Jaylen Green comes back, he's going to have picked up on some things that this team is doing during this win streak to help him in his play when he returns. And he's going to just slot right back in and, really be able to pick up on some of this winning brand of basketball that they're playing. Last thing for you. Tell me about Şengün. Tell me something good. Is he getting more playing time soon? I think that's the only thing I ever see from Rockets fans on Twitter is that, Alperen Şengün has to play more. Well, look, every game, Alperen Şengün does something that is brand new that you do not expect a 19-year-old rookie to have in his bag. Just tonight in this game, there was a point where he kind of had this hesitancy in a pick and roll spot where he didn't really have a go-to move. And then 2 plays down the line, he gets put in the exact same type of action in the roll, gets the ball, and has a floater just that materialized out of nowhere. It was the first floater he's thrown this entire season, and he nailed it like he's been shooting this shot since he was 8 years old. So his bag is deep and wide and impressive. Everything that he does on a nightly basis for a 19-year-old rookie is outstanding. If there's one red flag to his game right now, it's that he fouls a lot. He whether it's just adjusting to the speed of the NBA or just, getting an unfavorable whistle at times, he had 5 fouls in 17 minutes in this game. At one point, he had 3 fouls in 4 minutes. So, just a lot of foul trouble for Alperen Şengün. It's really tough for him to be able to stay on the floor with that. And, at this point, Stephen Silas is doing what he can do to get him, about 15, 20 minutes a night behind Christian Wood. But when you're running largely just one big a night, it makes it, or one big at a time on the floor, I should say, makes it kind of difficult to get him, an adequate 25 or maybe even 30 minutes a night like you might be able to get on another team. The Rockets may never lose again, so you want to be able to follow that. Go to Locked On Rockets wherever you get your podcast, or on YouTube you can go subscribe to the show. Follow Jackson Gatlin at JT Gatlin on Twitter, and good luck to the Rockets. They may never lose again. coming up against the Nets soon, and one James Harden. It's gonna be a fun game.
If you're here next week, then something has gone wrong in the Matrix, right? Something. If I have to bring you back because they didn't lose again the full week.
We're in a branched alternate reality if that happens, Nick.
What's the Matrix? Is it Reloaded? What's the new one? Matrix.
No, it's not Revolutions. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. We're tanking this segment now. Darn.
Resurrections. And that's exactly what the Houston Rockets have done. Go subscribe to Locked On Rockets. Guys, thanks so much for joining us on Locked On NBA. Boom.